Hey, John here. Real Hard Reviews. Hopefully you are having an absolutely awesome day. And today, as always, am looking at something a little different. And it's something that has been out for a very long time. We have reviewed it almost a year ago. But now, there's a slight refresh that's happened. And actually, the guy sitting beside me right now, this XFX Dual Dissipation RX 580, 8GB, was just released at the very end of October. Yeah, I know. Weird, eh? So XFX has sent this card to us and said, can you guys just take a look at it? See what you think? And is there a market for it? And I went, I guess I could. I didn't mind the 580 before, but with the 1650 Super out, it's going to be an uphill battle. And now with the 550, the 5500 XT from AMD, it's an even more uphill battle. But with a proper price tag on it, some included games, and a pretty awesome cooler, this isn't a half bad card. Let's take a look. All right, so jumping into my little build here, the XFX RX 580 Radeon card, dual dissipation, really beautiful custom cooling. One thing I'm going to say about this card right away, if you're into peels, I know people love those plastic peeling of the cards. This is the card for you. The very end, I'll give you a long peel video because there is so much plastic to peel off this. It is unbelievable. But the card is absolutely beautiful and it is running in my ITX rig right now. So I decided to build an all AMD rig. I've got a AMD 3600X, a beautiful Arctic Freezer 34 Esports Duo, which review in the description below, as well as the XFX Dual Dissipation 588GB. This card does overclock like a dream, and I actually had completely finished this review about a week and a half ago before AMD had launched some new drivers. The new AMD drivers have some amazing features in them, like instant overclock that just seems so simple, custom settings for resolution scaling in games so that slightly lesser hardware can still feel like it's getting that 4K 60 frames per second or 1080p 144 hertz, 144 frames per second. But looking particularly at the XFX Dual Dissipation, you're looking at a price tag of upwards to tops about $189. I've seen it as low as $149 with 3 months of Xbox Live. If you're getting that, that's a great deal. Pretty much every AAA game you'd possibly want, and a couple of them that are on my review bench that I'm going to be showing here shortly, are from that Microsoft Game Center. It's free, 3 months of it, and after that it's super cheap. It also comes with 2 free games, a Tom Clancy game or Borderlands, and that deal ends at the end of December, so jump at this now. Hopefully they can launch another deal, but Borderlands 3, I did test Borderlands 3 on this. With that, I'm not going to bore you with any more of chatting about it. It does have a 1366 core boost, but I overclocked this bad boy to, I believe, just over 1400 with just a click of a button with the AMD Game Center. It was actually quite impressive. Just one click, boom. It's not like the AMD Afterburner where it does a couple tests and stuff. It just right away does a safe clock and sets it at that, and it just runs. In a case like this, you may experience some minor thermal throttle just because of the fact that the air movement on the bottom isn't the greatest. If I would have put in some 220mm fans pushing up, I would get much better results out of that. But in my game testing, I didn't see any throttling. I only saw thermal throttle when I was running something like Firmark for about 45 minutes. It did start to throttle after a little while there. If I cranked up the fans in the system, it clocked back to normal and had no problems. With that, let's jump into the game tests. First game on the market today is Halo Reach using the enhanced settings. This is 1080p, and at no point in time do I ever see this drop below 60 frames per second. This is at 1080p, are we getting a minimum of 135 frames per second and an average of 225. This is extremely impressive, and this is even in large battles and everything else, but Halo Reach really could run on almost anything. And considering that the RX 480 is the recommended 4K card at 1080p, it does short work of it. And almost any card on the market today will. But if you got a nice monitor, 144 hertz, this is going to be no problem. It's going to look nice and buttery smooth. Jumping next into Far Cry New Dawn in the ultra settings, 1080p, and the game does look quite stunning. I am quite impressed here with a minimum frames per second of 54 and an average of 73. You're going to get a great gaming experience that's going to just destroy any console. So with that, the 580 is still holding up at this point in my mind. The XFX 580 with that slight overclock on it really does a great job. Next, we jump into one of the free games from the Xbox store, and that is the Gears Ultra. So this is the new Gears game, Ultra preset, and we're getting a minimum frames per second of 62 and an average of 75. That is, again, very impressive. The game does have a lot of artifacts, and at Ultra, looks quite stunning. And I really do say, this does look great. Now we jump into Borderlands 3 on high. Again, another free game that you get with this card. And we're seeing an average frames per second of 50. My recording software does not pick up a minimum, but I didn't see it drop much more below 30. But at an average of 50 and upwards to 80, it does look quite nice. And this is at the high preset. Again at 1080p, and I don't have any scaling turned on because I absolutely hate the resolution scaling. I know that is a new feature of AMD, but lots of games and lots of reviewers who like to lower the scaling to 720p or something else, it just looks like garbage. It looks like a console, and it's a fake review in my mind. If you have to scale down the card, the resolution to make the card sound appealing, it's just not the card for you, and just move on. But at 1080p, this looks stunning on high settings, really 50 frames per second on the average. You're gonna get a great game. You're gonna really enjoy Borderlands 3. Last on my game test this week, we've got ourselves Apex Legends, high settings, and impressive. Minimum frames per second of 82 and an average of 112. That is impressive. And Apex Legends is a very odd game. Some hardware is going to get hit really hard by this. Like my Intel rig with a 1080 Ti sometimes stutters and causes weird glitches with this game. Whereas this all AMD rig, I had no problems the whole time. Then again, I've had some other Intel rigs with AMD cards or NVIDIA cards and seen no problems. So it's just an odd game that I think they just really need to spend some more time just fixing the little bugs and stuff like that. But the XFX dual dissipation RX 580 8GB is still a very solid card. I did really like the card. It did run quite silent the entire time I was gaming with it. Could barely even hear it. I love the cooler on it. It does look stunning. The back plate is magnificent. It is an absolutely beautiful card. With that, do I recommend it? If you find it used at the right price, you definitely. If you can find it new at around $149 or less, jump at this card. It is a great card, and that's USD. If you see it, it is absolutely stunning. It does run great. There are other options out there that are going to be less power hungry. The 5500 XT trades blows with this card, and with the overclock on either one of them, they're going to go back and forth. The 1650 Super again is going to trade blows and be more power efficient. But at the right price with the right included games, this is definitely a steal. Because consider if you don't have the Game Pass yet, or you still don't have whatever the new Tom Clancy game it comes with, or Borderlands, and you really want them, instead of spending $50 on that and $39 on that, you basically got a card for $60. And with that, that is an absolute steal. At that point, the XFX Radeon RX 580 dual dissipation is a solid card. And all in all, it's not bad. If you're looking for something like this, it's going to solve you. It's going to be great. Even at 1440p, it's still going to be fine for gaming. It's not going to be the top of the line or high end, but it is a great value option. The cooler is beautiful. With that, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Check out our giveaway, which is right behind me right now, which is a Strix Gaming RX 574 GB and a AMD or a Asus ROG Sika gaming mouse. Those were provided by our sponsors, and the giveaway is in the description below. With that, I'm John with Real Hard Reviews. You go enjoy our peel video and have yourselves an absolutely wonderful day. Like, subscribe, comment. just stay awesome. Goodbye.